Wait, if you see a dull grey rock flash blue in the dirt, pick it up immediately. That is not just another river pebble. That is labradorite. And if you know the right tests, the flashlight angle trick, the $2 and glazed ceramic tile scratch test, the $15 pocket scale, you can turn a kicked stone into a $500 payday. By the end of this, you will know how to spot labradorite in the wild, confirm it with 4 field methods and tell the difference between a $50 blue flash and a $500 full spectrum spectral. In 1940, Pekka Litakari found a chunk of grey rock while building World War II fortifications in Isa, Finland. That stone, just 200 G, sold for the modern equivalent of $1,200 after cutting. But only if you know what to look for. Miss the flash and you will walk right past a fortune. Labradorite does not announce itself. In the field, it is a blocky grey-green chunk, cold, heavy, and about as exciting as a paving stone. I have seen it in the gravel beds of the Moose River, in the glacial till outside Antwerp, and on the black sand beaches of Madagascar. Most people never give it a second glance, but tilt it just 15 degrees under a flashlight or the morning sun and the surface explodes with electric blue, peacock green, sometimes gold, orange, or even violet. That is labradorance. And it is not a trick of the light. It is physics. Light refracting between microscopic layers of feldspar. Each one a record of volcanic cooling locked in by the slow breath of the earth. In Antwerp we call it the stone with a secret. In the field it is the difference between a rock and a payday. Let us get specific. Labradorite forms deep in the crust in the guts of ancient Anorthe and Gabbro. The color show Labrador essence comes from light bouncing between layers rich in sodium and calcium exsolved as the magma cools. Bowen's reaction series if you want the science. Snorts, but you do not need a geology degree to spot it. You need 4 things. A flashlight, a $2 and glazed ceramic tile for a scratch test, a $15 pocket scale, and a sharp eye for cleavage planes. Here is how you turn a grey rock into a collector's prize. First, the flashlight angle test. Any LED torch will do. $5 at a hardware store or the one on your phone. Clean the stone. Hold the light at a shallow angle. 15 degrees is the sweet spot. Rotate the rock slowly. If you see a flash, blue, green, gold, or purple, that is your first clue. Real labradorite only flashes at certain angles. Fakes or dyed stones glow all the time. I have watched seasoned prospectors miss a $300 stone because they did not bother to tilt it. Second, the scratch test. Grab an unglazed ceramic tile, $2 at any hardware store. Drag the stone across the surface. Labradorite is Mohs scale 6 to 6.5. It will scratch the tile, but it will not scratch quartz. If it leaves a mark, you are in business. If it does not, move on. I have seen more false positives from people skipping this step than any other. Third, specific gravity. This is where the $15 pocket scale pays for itself. Weigh the stone dry. Suspend it in water using a thread or a bent paperclip and weigh it again. Divide the dry weight by the difference between the dry weight and the submerged weight. If you get a number between 2.68 and 2.72, you are holding labradorite. Anything lower and you are probably looking at moonstone or a cheap fake. Fourth cleavage check. Labradorite breaks along 2 planes at about 86 degrees. Use a $10 hand lens or just your eyes. Look for flat shiny surfaces meeting at a near right angle. If you see that and the flash, you are almost there. Now, let's talk value. Not all labradorite is created equal. The most common is blue flash. Nice, but not rare. A hand-sized piece with strong blue can fetch $50 to $150. But if you see orange, gold, or purple, especially all at once, you may have spectral. Spectral is the premium stuff. First found in Isa, Finland. It has full spectrum flash with no dead zones. Those stones cut and polished sell for $300 to $500 or more. I have seen a 200G spectral cabochon go for $1,200 at auction. The difference is color range, intensity, and how the flash holds up as you rotate the stone. Where do you find it? Start with the classics. Labrador, Canada, Paul's Island near Nain. That is where Moravian missionaries first picked up a chunk in 1770. No public collecting now. The land belongs to the Labrador Inuit Association, and you will need serious permissions, but the geology is right and the blue-green flash from that region is textbook. In Finland, ILA is the only legal source of spectral. The quarries are private, but some offer guided tours. If you want to see the full spectrum, blue, green, gold, orange, red, violet, this is the place. Madagascar has the Bokanaki and Bananoke quarries in the south which pump out tons of peacock blue and fire labradorite. There is no public access, but the material floods the market. In the US, look to the Adirondacks in New York, Moose Island, the Sacandaga River, and the McIntyre Mine. Most of what you will find is blue flash, but every so often a glacial erratic turns up with a rainbow. Oregon and Utah have sunstone, which is technically labradorite with copper inclusions. A different beast, but worth a look. Let's get granular. In 1770, Jens Haven and the Moravian missionaries picked up a chunk of grey rock on Paul's Island. There was no flash at first. Then, when the sun hit it, the surface lit up. A sudden flash of blue, green, and gold. They sent the sample to Europe, and by 1780, Abraham Gutlow Vera had named it Labrador Stein. The British Museum catalogued the first specimens in 1777. No carat weight was recorded, but those stones launched a jewelry craze that swept through Antwerp in Paris. Fast forward to 1940. Pekka Lidakari, son of Professor Ori Lidakari, was digging trenches in Ilma, Finland, when he found a 200G chunk, grey and unremarkable. When he wiped the mud and tilted it, the stone exploded with color. That piece after cutting sold for the modern equivalent of $1,200. Today, spectrolite from that same quarry fetches $20 to $200 per carat, with top pieces reaching $500 or more per carat. But let us not sugarcoat it. Most people walk right past labradorite. The odds of finding a full spectrum spectral in the wild are low. Access is tough. Private land, remote quarries, strict permissions. In Labrador, you will need a helicopter and a letter from the Inuit Association. In Finland, you are not getting in without a guide. Madagascar is industrial mining only. In the United States, you are often sifting through glacial till and river gravel, hoping for a flash. Even then, most stones are blue or green. The real money is in the rare colors, orange, gold, purple. But here is the thing. Every major find started with someone picking up a rock that looked like nothing. Let me give you a field example. Adirondacks, New York, 2019. Mike Hargrove, an amateur prospector, is hiking the Alabelle River. He spots a grey chunk in the gravel weighing 150 G. He almost leaves it, but a glint catches his eye. He pulls out his $5 flashlight, tilts the stone, and sees a blue-green flash. He does the scratch test on an unglazed ceramic tile. Check. Specific gravity 2.7. Cleavage planes at 86 degrees. He sells the piece uncut for $120 to a local lapidary artist. Not a life-changing sum, but not bad for a rock most people would have kicked aside. Or take the story from Atobacoke, Toronto 2021. Sarah Lynn is walking the beach looking for driftwood. She finds a palmized stone, dull, grey, cold to the touch. She almost throws it back, but the sun hits at just the right angle. A flash of blue, then green, then a hint of gold. She keeps it. Later, a local gem dealer offers her $180 for the specimen uncut. She refuses. She says it is the best find of her life. Now, how do you tell labradorite from its cousins? Moonstone is the big one. It is also a feldspar, but the glow is different. Agularescence, a soft billowy light, not the sharp directional flash of labradorite. Moonstone cleavage is closer to 90 degrees and the specific gravity is lower, 2.56 to 2.60. And looks similar, but the flash is weak or absent, and the color is usually lighter. If you are not sure, do the flashlight test. Labrador essence is inhomogeneous. It appears and disappears as you rotate the stone. Moonstone glows more evenly. And barely reacts. Cutting and polishing. That is where Antwerp comes in. The best flash comes when you cut the stone so the internal layers are parallel to the surface. Cabochon is the classic cut, a rounded top and a flat base. If you cut across the layers, you lose the flash. Polishing is delicate work. Too much pressure and the stone splits along the cleavage. I have seen master cutters in Antwerp spend hours orienting a single piece, chasing the perfect angle. The payoff is a cababashon that lights up from every direction, worth 5 times the value of the rough. Let us talk numbers. On the open market, a hand-sized blue flash specimen that is clean and without cracks sells for $50 to $150. Multi-flash large specimens go for $150 to $300. Premium spectral full spectrum sells for $300 to $500 or more. Rough material is cheaper, $83 for 500G wholesale, but the real value is in the cut and polish. A well-cut full-spectrum cababashon can reach $200 per carat. I have seen a 30-carat piece from sell for $4,800, but most stones sell for $2 to $50 per carat depending on color and clarity. If you want more locations, exact coordinates, field guides, and stones most people overlook, subscribe now. I will show you where the geology is right, where the access is possible, and how to avoid the mistakes that cost people real money. Let's get practical. Here is your field kit. Flashlight, $5, hardware store. Unglazed ceramic tile, $2, hardware store. Digital pocket scale $15 available on Amazon or from Geology Supply. Hand lens $10 online or at a geology shop. Optional items UV flashlight $10. Geologist hammer $20. Step 1. Scan river beds, gravel pits, and glacial till for grey blocky stones. Step 2. Flashlight angle test. Look for the flash. Step 3. Scratch test. Confirm a MO hardness of 6 to 6.5. Step 4. Specific gravity 2.68 to 2.72. Step 5. Cleavage check. 2 planes at 86 degrees. If you hit all 5, you have labradorite. If you see full spectrum color, you might have spectral. If not, keep looking. The odds are low, but the payoff is real. Now, the climax. Ilama, Finland, 1940. Pekka Lakari is knee-deep in mud, digging trenches for the war. He finds a stone, grey and heavy, nothing special. He wipes it clean, tilts it, and the surface erupts in color. Blue, green, gold, red, violet. His hands shake. He brings it to his father, Professor Ori Litakari, who recognizes it instantly. That stone after cutting becomes, music, the first spectral. It sells for the modern equivalent of $1,200. The find changes the family's life, puts Ilama on the map, and launches a new chapter in the gem trade, but it started with a rock anyone else would have kicked aside. Here's your takeaway. Labradorite hides in plain sight. Grey, cold, unremarkable. But with a flashlight, a $2 tile, and a $15 scale, you can spot the flash, confirm the hardness, and weigh the odds. The best stones are rare, access is tough, and most rocks are just rocks. But every major find, Paul's Island, Ilama, Madagascar, the Adirondacks, started with someone picking up a stone that did not look like much. The difference is knowing what to look for and having the grit to check. So, next time you see a grey rock in the riverbed, don't kick it. Tilt it. Test it. You might be holding a $500 light show in your hand. That is the actual gemstone truth.